Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. I wanted to record something really fun for you all today. An episode that speaks to the signs of awakening. What are those things out there that I've noticed inside myself as well as witnessing other people that I would deem to be signs of progress or signs of evolution, signs of expansion that are contributing to the awakening of each person? I've picked up on these signs by witnessing my community of friends and family, and of course, working with incredible human beings along the way through my coaching practice and through my own personal experience as well. There's so many incredible books that have been written about awakening, that are still being written about awakening, so much incredible poetry out there, so many teachers over centuries that have spoken about their experience. And what I'm sharing with you today is really my interpretation of what awakening has felt like for me, but also, as I said, based on what I'm able to see through my inner circle as well, and the signs that I keep picking up on all the time. We are all being called to awaken on this planet today, and it is such an incredibly unique opportunity for all of us to awaken to our true nature. You know, this moment has never occurred before in history, and the way that we respond to our awakening determines the way that the rest of the story unfolds. So I'm coming to you from beautiful Bali at the moment. I'm in Ubud, experiencing the medicine and magic of Ubud and really feeling the support of Indonesia and Bali as I record this episode for you. It feels very potent actually to be doing this from here, because for any of you who have been here before, you'll know that the land is very activating and inviting, and Mama Bali has the ability to support you in your growth. And all of Ubud, which is the place that I've spent the most time in, is designed to facilitate growth and expansion within the being. I mean, I think every situation is, if we can look into it and tune into it, but here specifically, the way that the place is designed is to facilitate that growth through the workshops, the opportunities that are offered around the place. I just wanted to intersect and let you know where I'm coming from, because I think that gives a really good way of grounding into the episode. Some of these concepts can seem a bit esoteric, but they're very much practical to me, all these signs of awakening. Some of you may have just started to experience the signs that I'm speaking to today and might have just grasped these on an intellectual or surface level, and some of you may feel more embodied in these experiences. So I'm inviting you to pay attention to this, because there is a distinction here. As you hear each sign, I want you to notice how deep the realization really feels to you in your body. Notice, is it something that you're starting to experience because you've heard about it before? Or is it because it feels familiar to your soul? Or is it something you've directly experienced to be true in your bones? And there is a difference here. This is a great exercise, because ultimately, I feel that a realization can only be a realization if we feel it to be true in our body and have a direct experience of it. This is what leads to insight. Insight to me is simply something that we were not aware of before, and now it is very much in sight. And because it is now in sight and we are aware of it, we are now changed from the inside out. Otherwise, if we're just listening to an idea, then it could be something we're just entertaining, and it could feel true to us, but only on the surface level of the mind. A true realization penetrates and permeates through our being and changes us from the inside out. It is the act of becoming fully aware of something. But saying that, I don't want to devalue the significance of understanding something intellectually or cognitively. So if you're listening to these signs and that is where you're at, that is perfect too. Because understanding an idea intellectually and entertaining it or trying it on for size is a sign of progression on the path of awareness and awakening. And it's quite an important step. I myself would say that I don't believe that I am 100% embodied in all of these things that I'm reading out to you and sharing with you today. I see them sort of as a scale. So I know I'm moving along them, but I think to be full fledged all the way embodied in all of these is what it means to be an enlightened being, in my humble opinion. Deep down, we already know these things to be true. So as you hear these signs, you might feel a sense of remembrance. And that's actually how it's supposed to be, because we have a strong case of amnesia and we've conveniently forgotten. If you listen to my first podcast episode, you would have heard about my analogy of what I feel awakening is about. And what I do mention in that, which I think I've heard Alan Watts speak about so many times as well, is that we're playing this game of hide and seek with ourselves. So God is playing hide and seek with itself. And what we are seeking is within us, but we look everywhere for it until ultimately we look inside, we look inwards. And that is the process of awakening. We are waking up and realizing that we are the ones that we've been searching for, that the source of fulfillment that we long to feel and the source of love and happiness that we seek through relationships and our jobs or our careers and things that are outside of us are really only to be found inside of us. And everything outside of us gives us an impression of this, gives us a taste of what we already contain within us, but ultimately what we're searching for is within. As we come into self-remembering, these ideas will feel familiar. Gradually, we'll start to actually experience these ideas as being true based on our direct experience. For me, this is my main measure of awareness. A lot of ideas have felt true to me on the surface level, and I've kept entertaining them because I know that in time that I would experience them to be true. When we directly experience these states to be true based on our direct experience, that means we have now remembered something through the body. We can also go in and out of these states, and so in the process of awakening, it's also important to note how often we stay within these states. When a person permanently lives in these states, I would deem that person to be a fully enlightened being. The good news is even if you do go in and out of these states, once you have a realization, you cannot go backwards. I see awareness like an onion or a spiral going inwards. As we become more self-aware, little by little, the veils of ignorance get lifted, and what's revealed is what we innately know we already are. When the veils of ignorance get lifted, the light that shines within has a chance to be experienced. What we find in the center of that spiral is pure love, or as some say, the kingdom of heaven that lies within. I once had a client express to me in our session that she feared that she'll fall off the wagon again and go backwards if she was to stop our sessions or if she was to stop meditating or doing the work. This is quite a valid fear. However, one that in my perspective is not entirely possible, because once you see something, you cannot unsee it. Once you grow, you've grown. You cannot ungrow. Awareness is a process of unfolding. So even if you feel like you have fallen off the wagon or lost your meditation practice or stopped doing the work for whatever reason and stopped going inwards for whatever reason, it doesn't mean you've lost the awareness. But yes, when you are practicing being self-aware, this part of you does grow, and ultimately it expands to encompass all of your life experience, which is what we all want at the end of the day. So once something has been revealed, you cannot be fooled by the illusion. For example, if you understand the magic trick a magician was using when performing an act, you simply would not be able to see it in the same light. Something would have shifted. Even if your entire perception of reality has not shifted, something within that has shifted. And that's something you can't unsee. But of course, we are living in constant Maya, or illusion, so the chances of us getting fooled by this illusion are fairly high. So if you are on the path of awakening and you are realizing something, but then the work stops for whatever reason, the inner work that I'm referring to here stops for whatever reason, then yes, it is possible to get fooled by the illusion more and more. And this is why the practice or sadhana is really important. It's important to note that these signs are not a one and done thing. because self-realization is a process. It's not something that I think is just done. I think it's an experience that happens over time, which is why I call it to be the experience of becoming undone. After all, awakening is a noun, not a verb. Okay, so without further ado, here goes. These are the most prevalent signs that you are awakening and realizing your true essence nature. Before I go into this, I do want to say that right now in Bali, there is a massive celebration going on. And so people are dancing on the streets and playing music. So if you hear some of this come through, that's what it is. And I'm just going to trust that it doesn't cause disturbance within the episode because it's beyond my control. Okay, so the first sign is you recognize that you're playing a character in this life. You're the lead character of your own movie. You understand that you're simply playing a part, and so is everyone else. Which brings me to the second sign. You're disidentifying with the character that you're playing, and so when things don't go your way or you experience some kind of pain, whether it be physical or emotional, or experience any kind of inconveniences in your life, you don't take it personally. You're committed and driven to knowing yourself. You're not afraid to go inwards and be with yourself. You prioritize your well-being above all else and strive towards experiencing more balance in your body and your mind. Now, with this particular point, when I say you prioritize your well-being above all else, again, it's not a final point you get to, it's a fine-tuning. So you're consistently looking for things that work for your body, things that work for your mind. You're getting to know your body, you're getting to know your body type, your constitution. You've basically caught on that you have a temple and that you need to look after this temple, and the way that your temple operates will be different in some ways to the way that my temple operates. And so you're really curious about getting to know the temple and the vessel that you've been given. Number 5, you understand that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You don't have any problem being labeled selfish by those that don't understand the importance of prioritizing themselves. Number 6, you're getting more and more honest with yourself. You meet yourself with nothing but radical honesty because you know that there's actually no other way. Number 7, you understand that your body needs to feel safe and grounded in order to house a higher level of consciousness and realize deeper truths. You look after your body and respect the temple that you've been given. Number 8, you're feeling more and more safe in your body each day. Your nervous system feels at ease and you're able to be more in the present moment, as opposed to living out of your survival state, which is going into fight, flight, or freeze. Number 9, you naturally feel driven to look after your body. You want to nourish it with healthy food, not because someone is telling you to do it, because society is telling you to do it, but because deep down, innately, you know that that is the right thing for your body. Number 10, you feel safe in this world and you experience a sense of belonging. Number 11, you're more accepting of yourself. Even though your body and mind is simply a vessel and not the entirety of you, it's still your vessel. And so you're committed to doing the work required to accept yourself wholeheartedly. 12, you start seeing challenges and problems in a new perspective. You see any problems arise as catalysts, propelling you into the next level of your growth. You also see challenges as being the elixir of life, the very thing that makes life super interesting. 13, you don't let fear stop you from taking action. You embrace fear, and instead of expecting yourself to not feel scared, you develop courage and move towards that which scares you because you know the reward that's lying on the other side of this. Number 14, you innately know that moving towards that which scares you will liberate you from the limitations that your character feels it has in this lifetime. Number 15, you take life a lot less seriously than before. You see life as a playground for you to play and express yourself and experiment. There's no end goal that you're trying to get to. You're here for the ride rather than the destination. 16, you understand that it's impossible to make mistakes through your actions. You can only take detours on your way home. You understand that you cannot get it wrong or fail. You can only learn. 17, at the same time, you don't deny yourself from feeling normal human emotions. The only difference is that when emotions arise, you allow them, and so they don't stick to you. They get digested, Whenever you feel something, you express it, you allow it, you embrace it, you're present with it. And by doing so, the emotions and the energy of those emotions moves through you. You don't resist your emotions. Number 18, you're driven to uncover your unique purpose here on this planet. 19, so many of you will feel the call to quit your jobs, move countries, leave relationships, or make a radical change because your soul is not satisfied with your current conditions anymore and is inviting you to grow. 20, you feel more driven to walk the unique path of your soul as opposed to doing what you were conditioned to do by society. You're shifting away from living out of the expectations that others have of you and are connecting more deeply with what you truly want to do in this lifetime. And you're doing it, or you're making steps towards doing it. 21. You do more of what makes your heart sing and are either... Hey there, just dropping in with a gentle reminder. You, my friend, are exactly where you're meant to be in this grand tapestry called life. No mix-ups, no coincidences, and absolutely nothing happens by chance. Your soul is always present, embracing you as you boldly navigate this beautiful adventure we call life. Do you feel connected to your soul? In this lifetime, I've been cast as your spiritual guide. My mission? To help you explore the depths of your inner world and unearth the wellspring of genuine fulfillment and joy that lies within. And I have just the roadmap to help you bravely embark on this inner quest. How do you know if you're ready for this? You'll sense it. You'll know it's time when you've exhausted the external search for happiness and are ready to shine a light on your inner world with the same vigor. You'll know. Visit my website to schedule a free consultation. Let's tune into your heart's desires and clear away any obstacles to soul-level fulfillment. I'd be thrilled to meet you. Now, let's dive back into the episode. Are already following your excitement or developing the courage to follow your excitement? You kind of know that that's the only way forward. Number 22, you feel the need to give back, contribute, make an impact, and help people in some shape or form. And that's because you understand that fundamentally we are all connected and we are one. So what you give to another, you give to yourself. 23, you question things all the time, not from a place of criticism and self-shaming or judgment, but from the perspective of understanding yourself and the world better. One of your highest mottos is know thyself. 24, you continue to feel the presence of God and the divine and feel connected to this part of you regularly. You've had some sort of mystical experience or life experience where you felt the presence of something bigger than you. Either you were born with this or this happened along the way, but this is what naturally motivates you to become a more loving and kind person towards others and yourself. 25, when you get caught up in other things, you naturally move towards stillness again, so you can experience that which you already are. 26, you organically feel called to spend more time in silence and go inwards through meditation, yoga, breathwork, and other practices. Chances are, if you're on the path of awakening, that you might even prefer spending less time with people and more time in your own company, and only spend time with those people that really enhance your company and your energy rather than people that drain you of energy. So you might prefer to just spend time by yourself and really evaluate your current relationships to see whether they're bringing more to you than what you get out of spending time with yourself. 27, you feel called to spend more time in nature. 28, you start to realize you are nature. 29, you feel more connected to the earth and all the various beings on the planet. You see through the illusion of separation. 30, you're more present on a moment-by-moment basis. 31, you see that you are both the cause of your joy and your misery. 32, you don't feel the need to blame anyone from your past about the traumas you've experienced in your life. At one point, all you did was blame. Blame was easy. It made sense. Because it did feel as though you wouldn't have gone through what you did if it wasn't for their actions towards you. But now you are starting to see, or perhaps you fully see, that it was never personal, and that on some level, this was just nature doing nature. It was nature correcting itself, and karma playing out. 33. You're realizing that true happiness is an internal job and that everything outside of you, your career, your relationships, your hobbies and interests, are only here to invoke a state that you already possess. 34. You're experiencing more states of flow, where you're one with the task in front of you and you're living more for the experience and the journey itself rather than the destination. You're realizing that there's nowhere to get to. 35. You have no trouble relying on others and either already have or are moving towards developing a more interdependent way of relating. You have no trouble needing other people. You understand that you do need others and they need you. We're not meant to do life alone. However, you're coming from a sense of security, or you're driven to build more security within yourself, or what I like to call secure functioning, if you look at attachment styles, so that you can rely on people when needed, and you can do things on your own when needed. I think the wisdom is in being able to decipher the two. 36. You're more aware of your actions, thoughts, and sensations, and the way you interact with reality on a moment by moment basis. This awareness causes you to want to be more kind towards everyone and everything in your environment, including the objects that surround you, and most importantly, towards yourself. Sort of like it's not really possible to not be kind towards others and yourself anymore once you start to see that hurting another is hurting yourself, and being kind to another is being kind to yourself. 37. You realize that everything is temporary. Nothing is permanent, except for one thing. 38. You feel more at ease about your relationships changing, especially if you're drifting away from certain friendships and relationships. You're able to hold the attachment that you have towards people and relationships more loosely because you understand that you'll only be a match vibrationally to those who mirror your level of consciousness. And so ultimately, if people leave your life or come into your life, it's all happening just as a way of acting as a mirror of where you're currently at. 39. You're experiencing more compassion in your heart for those that are still fast asleep to their true nature because you know that they'll make it home and wake up when it's their time. So there's less of a rush and a need to want other people to be on this same path as you. Of course, we can't help but want our friends and family to come along with us and to share these experiences, what I would like to call peak experiences with them, and experience the expansion of consciousness. But the truth is, every human being has their own relationship with God, and they'll wake up when it's their time. And it doesn't make any of us better or worse than one another if we are at a certain degree or certain level of consciousness. Everyone is God in human form. 40. You understand that hurt people, and so you extend compassion to others more naturally, instead of seeing yourself as a victim to hurtful scenarios. 41. When you hear about acts of injustice such as murder, rape, violence, war, and any other act of ill will towards a person, animal, or the planet, you feel love and compassion towards the other person. I'm not saying you won't feel other things as well, I know I do, but eventually I feel compassion because I know that this person would have to be in so much pain and suffering and living out of so much distortion themselves in order for them to commit a crime like that. And maybe that's their path. In fact, that is their path because that's what they're doing. Everyone's path is different towards realizing who they are. 42. You're fiercely honoring of your boundaries and are learning to respect the sacredness of your space, time, and energy and who you share this with. 43. You understand the significant role you play through your existence, and at the very same time, paradoxically, you understand that your role is totally made up. You're getting comfortable with the paradoxical nature of this universe. I personally love paradoxes. There's so many within the spiritual field, and I personally just revel and enjoy them so much. 44. You're surrendering to life and hold your plans loosely, knowing that what the divine has in store for you is often far more significant and more aligned than what your teeny tiny little human mind thinks that you want and has in store for you in your life. So you're starting to align your will to God's will. 45. You feel more guided by your soul and have this internal sense that something has your back. Always. 46. You literally feel your consciousness expanding. And the more you travel inwards, be with yourself, and truly love yourself unconditionally, you experience this feeling of, even though sometimes it sucks because it's difficult to work through this stuff or feel so deeply, or whatever challenge is coming up for you in your life, you still feel that the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. The more your consciousness expands, even if you're facing challenges, it does get better and better. 47. You feel your intuitive abilities grow each day and feel called to listen more to your intuition, even if it doesn't fully make sense to the logical mind. 48. You realize that you're always living in the unknown. You never actually know what's going to happen next, and you're becoming okay with that. 49. You're more acutely aware of death, knowing that it can arrive at any moment. You don't fear death as much as you perhaps used to, or you're starting to feel safer with the idea of death. And instead of looking at it as the end of something, you see it as more of a transition from one vessel to another. And number 50, last but not the least, you realize that there's nowhere to get to. You've already arrived. So there we have it, folks. The surefire signs that you are awakening to your magnificence. I'm sure this list is going to keep growing, so I may need to do a part 2 of this episode as I continue to expand as a human being and continue to feel more of my soul in human form. I am sure that there'll be more to add. Please do let me know if these resonated with you. And the reason that I numbered each of them was so that you can reach out to me and let me know which one really stuck with you, which one you're experiencing more of at this time. And you can even make a mental note yourself to see, oh, number 47, I'm not sure I fully feel that yet. Number 48, oh yeah, I totally feel that. So I hope that this has helped you, and it's been such a pleasure sharing these with you. Until next time, namaste.